Hello, my loves. YouTube fam. We're saging to the east, inviting the presence of Archangel Raphael, the emerald green flame, firelight, south, clearing all the way through and inviting Archangel Michael in, the electric blue firelight. West, Archangel Gabriel, white, white light, and Archangel Uriel in the north with the ruby red light, the ruby red ray. Thanks for showing up today to play. The interference continues. I tried to make this video a few times already. I'm sweating in my own frustration. The illumination of the lingering frustration is more like it. It feels deep. It feels old. It feels anguished. Hot and unmerciful. Like there is a part of me, and I'm inviting you to relate. I can feel the heat, the fire of this old thing, this stuck stuff. I use the word unmerciful, and I'm like, wow, that feels intense. And exploring that quickly with myself inside. It's like, yeah, the anguish is there because it had an experience I had, we had, you had, at a time, an experience of a lack of mercy. Something that felt completely unfair. That destroyed, or felt like it destroyed, your faith. I'm sending the energy, lots of energy exchange through the crown right now. If you want to join me in bringing your attention there, saying yes, 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 all the way up into source. Greeted by Archangel Metatron. Thank you for calling us home. And feeling your feet. Feeling your feet, your butt, your root. Pressing yourself into the earth. This really intense cord through my neck lit up there. Resistance to feeling safe here. Resistance to surrender. It makes sense. You make sense. And reality is so multidimensional that that can be true at the same time as your immaculate safety. My left hip is really lighting up. Let's dig in there. Yeah, immediately some movement. So maybe this experience of no mercy is older than you. Maybe it's been passed through the lineage. Yeah, it feels really stuck at the back of the left hip, like don't ever let your guard down, because there are merciless things in existence that can get you, so always be on guard. We want to let that dissolve now, because it's blocking us from fully inhabiting our own body, our own auric field, and inhabiting your own body and your own auric field is the best protection for your soul, for your body, for your mind, for your morality. I came into this in a previous recording this morning talking about shock, because this bird flew into my window, this beautiful, sweet bird, and I went outside to be with it. Right now it's in a basket, keeping warm. And no, the best place really is on the earth. It was laying there on the earth, had its wings spread out, and was panting. But I don't know, the first thing that crossed my mind was bring a basket, bring something warm, and so I followed that. And I held the bird for a while, talking to it. So beautiful, so soft, so sweet, no resistance. So we shared that Reiki time together. But it's really cold and wet here. I mean, it's going to get colder and wetter, but it's already quite cold and wet and windy. So I followed the intuition. I put my nice soft coat in my grocery basket, and the bird had no resistance to being put in there, and I wrapped I didn't wrap her tight, but put a layer over top. Our bodies are so smart, they know what to do in shock, but our mind can interfere. Especially when the ego is convinced that we are not safe to allow our instincts to be as intelligent as they are. Shock gets caught in the system, and it feels so true that at some point, whether it was generations ago or yesterday, same but different, but same. Experiencing a lack of mercy in others is shocking. Experiencing a disconnect from authentic innocence to the degree of an absence of mercy is shocking, is splitting, is so convincing that separation exists. Really can injure our sense of faith and trust and connection. I think it makes sense to be angry about that, to have experienced a protective, possessive, fierce response in the face of anything like that. The guidance I'm feeling is to share with you that I don't wash this window. I let it get dirty. It's not that dirty, but it's probably dirtier than most people's windows, but yeah, because it's so big and I live in the forest. And I guess, it's like, connect to the acts of mercy that you see yourself engaging in. Like not washing your window because the birds are less likely to fly into it, and that matters more than being seen as someone with clean windows, and that is the window that people see as they walk up my driveway. So whether they think I'm lazy or gross or don't care, it's less important than giving the birds some warning that the window is there. So notice there that innocence matters more than image. That's the opposite of narcissism. That's coming through an ability to be with the intensity of innocence. I bet that's pretty online for you too. To prioritize connection to innocence is against the grain in the common culture on this planet, yet at this time. To really see, sense, and experience the innocence of animals, of nature, of children. Children 0 to 7, 100%. Let's say 7 to 14, 50%. I'm talking pure innocence, where we come to planet Earth to have an experience of the distortion of innocence, to eventually, as we cycle through, to bring the choice of consciousness to the reclamation of innocence. And there are fresh generations that are coming here, says the Gene Keys. In kindergarten the other day, which is my membership, please jump in now. We read the third Gene Key, and it talks about how there are generations coming that will not forget their innocence. So please be comforted by that's already in motion. And what I hear is that your contributions have counted. And us, older generations, that wasn't the soul promise or the soul mission. The soul mission was to forget and to remember. And what helped with the forgetting part of the mission was experiencing shocking things that we certainly didn't feel safe to allow the energy of it to pass all the way through us. We were like, what? And held on to it, frozen. We talked a bit about that yesterday. Feeling a lot of tension in the neck, so I'm just giving that some attention now. feeling called to call in black diamond protection for each of us as we engage these subjects, as we do this work. The black diamond is showing itself at the center, your heart of hearts. That it fits there, matches this void space. Protecting the energy pumping through your system, protecting you. Like you can see through everything you're meant to. And yes, that can feel like a weight on your shoulders, like a strain in your neck. I can feel the disgust in your belly about some of the things that you see. Don't be afraid. But also, I understand that the fear has made sense, but the message coming through is don't be afraid to express the fury or the disgust in childlike ways. Like, give yourself a safe space to be dramatic, to be silly with it, to explore what feels like an immature expression. Go for it. We do that together in kindergarten. If you want support, if you want playmates, you want to stand in sanctuary, feeling safe with yourself, remembering safety with yourself, reclaiming yourself from whatever shocks occurred that shut down your full faith in your authentic, instinctual intelligence. Yeah. Let yourself yawn, let your jaw stretch. The hips and jaw are really connected. They hold the tensions of the timelines. Follow the instincts. You know, our animal selves would be naturally making noises that stretch our jaw, would be moving and prowling and running and playing in ways that stretch our shoulders, snap, crackle, pop, and our hips. So they don't have a chance to accumulate so much stuck stuff. And we'd be sitting in trees, laying on the earth, recycling energy like it's our job. The animal aspect of us needs those things. You know, I make these videos like a companion to my commitment to laying on the earth for 20 minutes every day. I don't know if you know this about me, but I am I'm currently solo parenting 24/7, and I also unschool my gloriously neurodivergent child. So we're together 24/7 at this time in our lives. And he is a manifesting generator, and I am a projector. Projectors need space. They need time away from generator bodies because generators are constantly churning. Energy, where projectors have an open system, very absorbent. And so if you don't know your human design, I think this is an invitation. If you want someone to explore your human design, your gene keys with, that's part of what we do in the private apprenticeships that I offer. We explore your real life for remembering the energy master that you are, and we explore human design, astrology, and gene keys so that we are using language that truly speaks to your soul, your mission here. And it's amazing to witness. People be like, oh, this is me. I always knew this. This permission feels amazing. But so in understanding my own system, my own needs, I asked, how do I do this 24/7 with a generator by my side, with a manifesting generator system by my side? Lay on the earth for 20 minutes a day. That's the answer that came. It's so simple, it's so easy, and yet there is resistance in me. And it is a byproduct of the holding of shock, of the things we've been talking about in this video, that there is resistance to doing the simple solutions that will meet the needs. Because that energy got locked in the system because there was an intense experience of needs not being met. Okay, so that needs not being met, that story, that energy story, is locked in our tissues, in our systems, in different places, in different sizes. So what we're meeting up here to do is to, I've got goosebumps everywhere, to let the energy of each day, the animals that arrive, the interplay, bring our attention to those places so that we can let the energy circulate there. Reiki, mysterious oneness, unconditionally loving, conscious life force energy, circulate there and whisper, you are always enough. You are always worthy of your needs being met. Your soul came here to experience the forgetting, and this played a significant, imperative part. But now it's time to remember. And that was part of your promise too. 911 here on the Pacific West Coast of Canada is where I am, in the rainforest. But 911 really drew my attention there, and this is emergency response. Sweeping yourself off is emergency response behavior. Laying on the earth, I've explored this the past decade with so many people. Adults are often like, yeah. I have an acquaintance in town that I see kind of regularly who sat with me and asked questions. Their gut, lots of issues in the gut. Some medium messages came through, and the invitation to lay on the earth, even for 3 minutes. Saw them again. Oh, the issues are still present. I said, did you ever lay on the earth? Oh, no, not yet. What are we waiting for? But it's so effective that we resist. The level of effectiveness in the simplicity of sweeping yourself off throughout your days, when something happens, as a morning, evening, après-ski, after lunch, these moments of treating ourselves. Can we include practices that are so simple that they are a loophole of efficiency and effectiveness? Discharge allows for circulation, enables our intense flexibility and openness, which is the opposite of stuck. So I dare you. I double dog dare you. To sweep yourself off every day going forward for the rest of your freaking life. I'm not even joking. Who's most receptive to it is children. It's like I say, hey, can I sweep you off? We're at the skate park and not my child falls and is there and beside me, I'm not interfering. I'm not butting in on cutting off some other parent. But if I'm the one that's there carrying, available to this child, whether it's a little kid or a teen, I say, hey, can I sweep you off? And they're kind of sure, they don't know, but the answer isn't no, it's yes. And I'm like, oh, how's that? Just do it for a couple minutes. They bonk their knee's scraped up, but they want to keep playing, or, they need to at least be able to limp home. But the response is kind of this, they're not paying huge attention to me because it's hard. It's hard for our egos to let us come into presence with this simplicity, which is why I'm daring you to practice every freaking day for the rest of your beautiful life. So I see I'm thinking particularly about this 12, 14-year-old, he probably was, this time of the story that's coming up in my head. Where he couldn't really pay attention to me, but was like, hey, that feels better. Automatically commented when his mind connected to his body again, after kind of drifting off and paying attention and I think some worrying. And this is also a kid that had a really hard time not just talking all the time and asking so many questions and just being really in an anxious connection to everything. I felt really related to this kid, and he spent a couple days a few summers ago with me and my kid, and was like, come lay in the yard, because he was driving me crazy. Come lay in the yard. And he's like, oh, what are we doing? Kind of some resistance, but we did. We laid on the grass. 5, 10, 15 minutes goes by. Everything quiets down. It's this spaciousness came into his being. He's so exquisitely sensitive, but always absorbing so much and not discharging enough. We swept ourselves off. He's feeling good. He's feeling groovy. His mom comes to pick him up. He goes, Mom, come lay on the grass with me. And she goes, no, we're too busy. We gotta go. And he was crushed. I saw the collapse, but he went to get his stuff. And so I whispered to her, I knew the mom pretty well, and I said, he wants to show you because it felt so good, and he wants you to feel good the way he got to feel good laying on the grass. Like, there is an intense sweetness in his invitation. And so, if you can make room for it, I'm inviting you to. I don't know whether they did. There's a lot of anxiety and tension in how exquisitely sensitive they are. And I think so many of us can relate to that, and to not feeling like we could possibly have the time to lay on the grass for 10 minutes. But it's like, what's really going on there is that laying on the grass, we will surrender. And we feel like we're not allowed to surrender. We feel like I have to stay tight like this so that I am in my position as the orchestrator of the million things, and so that I keep moving because all of the million things are depending on all of the other things, and I'm the thing that has to hold it all together. You know, that does get obliterated when we lay on the earth for long enough. That cruel custom we have of staying in egoic control, it softens and softens and softens and softens. And we remember our own innocence. We feel the mercy, which is also intimidating because that will take us to the places where those experiences of mercilessness is stuck. The lovers is the divine alchemy of our masculine and feminine parts inside each of us, no matter our gender. And we're allowed to be alive like this, rectifying the anguish like this, remembering the grace, the miracles of mercy, of authentic innocence. Temperance, which has the heron on it, and the heron, like all creatures with long legs and long necks, are of the earth and of the cosmos. At the same time, they're bridgers. You know, this work that we're talking about is bringing heaven on earth. It's remembering, it's holding the frequency of innocence, which is merciful. There is no blame, there is no shame in the mercy of innocence. And as we connect to responsibility for ourselves in our own bodies, in our own energy field, we aren't so confused about what that innocence means. It doesn't mean letting anybody off the hook from the responsibility for themselves, for their own experience. Innocence is a really confusing conversation for a lot of people. It's part of why I feel like DCFO is so important to get out there and yet also difficult to get out there because it carries a frequency of innocence. It's a framework for remembering your innocence. Discharge plus circulation equals flexibility and openness. Innocence, pure innocence, is pure flexibility and openness. There's no judgment. There's wholeness. There's circulation to every part. Nothing left out, nothing left behind. Wholeness. And so sweeping ourselves off may seem really simple or even silly. Sweep it off. Send it to the earth. Or sweep through your mind, any tangles, and send it all to source. Clear the slate. That's what allows the deep listening, full connection, sensational connection to the body, mastering the allowing of intuitive guidance, and really circulating the appreciation and respect into the aspects of the wounded inner child that didn't feel honored, that didn't have their needs met, whose impulses and instincts likely would have met their own needs, but they didn't feel enough permission to follow their own guidance. Instead, they mirrored something in the environment, and whatever was mirrored was an injured thing that was experiencing separation from its full innocence, its full flexibility and openness, to be able to circulate loving presence, Reiki energy, oneness energy, just simple, fresh life force energy into the moment of shock, in the face of forgetting, because you have to forget your innocence to be lacking any mercy. Feel free to let me know what came up for you in this session. I'm going to go now and reply to the comments from yesterday's video, and I'm going to go in this rhythm of posting each day and replying to comments after I record. So please know you're getting my personal attention if you comment, and I love to be with you this way. I think we'll sage again, just inviting the energetic flow. Where did I put that other piece? And the koi fish was on top, which is just such a beautiful sign of prosperity and flow. You know, this conversation matters. People have often in my life been like, oh, why are you so negative? I'm really not a very negative person. If I really get into neglecting discharge, yeah, I can be negative because it's showing me that I'm just full of stuff. Like I need output, I need discharge. But I'm a pretty naturally extremely optimistic person. But people have been like, why are you so negative? Because I'm very willing to talk about and visit with the heavy stuff, because there's been this inherent knowing in me that energy needs attention to feel permission to move. I love sharing my happy-go-lucky, sad rising, hilarious, playful, adventurous me, but it's also that enables me to be willing to meet with the density to bring circulation there. I'm going to burn my finger now, but we're just fully supported. To be authentic. To be on an authentic journey of remembering wholeness. I wish you flowing, glorious, golden, white, sparkling circulation through every hardship, remembered in your body being. I wish you that love. I wish you that liberation. Thank you for reflecting that wish with me.